Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for week 19, day 2. It is May 9th, 2017. Hey guys, as always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. Support your knowledge in the market, see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan, and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, Jedi traders, happy Teachers Day. And that's right, it was all about the NASDAQ today, making all-time highs, bang, to the upside, and boom, all the way back to the downside. And believe it or not, in after hours, trading back upside to almost regain the highs of the session. Crazy, crazy. All right, let's jump right into the, let's go ahead and jump right into the big highlights of the day here, seen on the trading session recap. Is posted each day 15-30 minutes prior to the market is the pre-market trend, where I go ahead and give a post there to the charts as they are on the higher time frames, bigger charts, and also the lower charts, kind of see where the MML levels and where the current trend is. So let's go ahead and quick recap here. As the AM session, NQ, like I said, ripped to the upside. ESYM divergent, not following suit, as the NQ just led away. ES tried to pull out a couple of bars to the upside, but unsuccessful. So PM session pulling back all the way. The Globex whole low, and the NQ pulling back to the Globex high and making an all-time high, and NQ rebounding. So it was all about the NQ making that all-time high again. 2-day trend on the 6J. We'll go ahead and pull that chart up here in a little bit. So kudos to the 6J yen there. VIX closing out actually here underneath 10, holding underneath 10 for the majority of the session. As we can see, not much in the news other than North Korea taunting. I don't know what's headed up, but it sure doesn't seem good. Market seems to be content that nothing's going to happen. I think in years past, we probably would have tanked by this point. Key earnings out by Disney, Priceline, NVIDIA, some others out there. Go ahead and check your earnings whisper there for the numbers. So we end up the day after a net balance overnight on the Globex, ESYM downtrend, and the NQ flat. All right, let's jump into the market internals as we saw them. Here we can see market profile. Again, I like to see the volume profile. I picked the volume profile looking for 70% of the day's range. How does the outliers look? In other words, how are the single prints both above and below? Looks good. Price action again yesterday was repairing that week high from Friday session. So now NQ making all-time highs here again, pushing up. Nice balanced profile overall. Again, ES overall was a balanced session. So where do we sit? Big time on the gaps. We just continue to lead one after another. NQ leaving another gap in the trail. So one, count them, 2, 3, 4, ever since there back at the end of April. Yes, I am a little concerned that the fact that with the higher we run, the idea that the market is not closing these out, so the harder we fall at some point. And yes, with 100% guarantee, we will close those daily gaps out. But until that shows up, the momentum continues to the upside. YM not playing as well. YM still now holding now underneath the weekly open, as it barely held up yesterday on Monday's open. And again, same picture, consolidation on the ES, but we all know what consolidation means. Consolidation leads to breakout. It seems the only market moving here on the breakout is the NQ to at least the upside. All-time high sitting right up there, 24-hour one. I know, Globex hours, we already grabbed it, but I'm only focusing on the regular trading hours, and we have yet to ring the bell again. Take a look at the AD lines. They were pretty much flat across. So there you go. No price action. NQ, there was that lift with the overall price action to the upside. Nice movement on the NQ. But after that, a little pullback on the NQ and a little lift there at the end. We'll see on the charts. But overall, across the board, AD line showing pretty much flat internals. All right, let's go to the full session pick here. Let's start with the ES here. Price action from the open. I don't know what happened to my opening bar here, but again, looking for the highest probability setup. Let me go ahead and paint the picture here. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a Heikin Ashi bars in trend. I don't care what color you use. The indicator is down. The indicator is a 534 EMA crossover, and I have an indicator of 5144. That's the cloud. Same thing telling you up here that we're downside. You can throw in a moving average. You can throw in a VWAP, whatever it is. You're looking for momentum and you're looking for the trend to move. So, ES, where did I find that today? Well, I found a couple bars here. It took a while for the ES to get going, excuse me, to the downside. So this was not what I say a good, I would call it a high probability setup, but again, it was too far from the crossover. So let it go. You got yourself a pullback. There's a good setup. Price action back underneath the cloud. High probability setup gives you the run. Yeah, a couple bars down. You got a nice long tail. Hopefully you stayed in. If not, you had another opportunity back here. Much smoother down here towards the latter part of the session as ES came down. That could have been on the news piece of North Korea in the afternoon session. But other than that, ES overall downside. Nice move. And we'll see that here. See if we can catch that on an MML chart. YM. Here we go. Again, similar picture. A little bit of high tails here. Throwing a 34 EMA, throwing a T35 or a T310, whatever moving average you want to use. Price action underneath the cloud, staying downside. Highest probability setup was probably also here with the YM in the afternoon session. Solid Heikin-Ashi bar, tail down. There you go. In trend. No long tails to take you out of your stop once it was moved to break even. And then bottom out here, whether you're watching the Globex low or watching the lower MMLs, price action would have taken you out of the trade. All right, let's jump into the NQ. NQ again, talking about that move up this morning. There was the setup above. You have your T3, you have a 34 EMA, you have your 5144 cloud. That gives you price action to the upside. Again, it was a little hesitant here as price action started to get going. We had a 2-bar pullback, market opens, great setup, soft pullback, and what do you get? You get the ES and the YM are not going anywhere. So you're thinking, all right, what's going to happen here? Maybe I'll just take a scalp. Maybe I'll just let it ride. That was up to you as a trend trader to either let this thing ride or to bail. But either way, the trend rode up. All the way actually up to the MML highs on the range chart. So nice move on the NQ, only to be taken back all the way. So there were two options for the setup up here. Again, a lot of consolidation up here. We had an MML setup up here actually on the turnaround as price action came down. If you were able to manage that move so that you were able to stay in through all this chop here, you did quite well as price action ran down all the way to the Globex low and actually the MML lows to the T. And there it is, bounced back up to the close, and actually a little bit further up here as the market closed out here at 5 o'clock. All right, small opportunity here, solid Heikin-Ashi bar in the afternoon. So if you're keeping it simple, you're using the 5144 cloud to give you the trend and the shorter term T3 moving average, whether it's a 34 EMA, whether it's a T3 510, it doesn't matter, your choice. I like the T3 5, it's a little bit shorter term, shows you the change in slope here at the top, as you can see, which gives you the indicator that trend might be changing. High probability setup is only when I have all in sync, which wasn't until here in the afternoon. So it's a choice. Do you take the entry up here or do you take it down here? Well, let's take a look. Let's for a moment appreciate the 6J and trend, which has been coming down. This was the Globex picture after yesterday's trend. 6J trending all the way down through the pre-market. So really nice follow through on the 6J. That's what we're looking for. Throw on a simple moving average, a closer short-term price action. Again, if you decided to go counter trend here, well, price action didn't break above the 34 EMA, which would have kept you in, or a possible re-entry if you had bailed out. All right, so NQ. So what was the big picture here? NQ, as we see, let's jump right into NQ post 30 minutes. So if you take a look here, the MMLs did not end up in the same way. Let me go ahead and post a picture. Let me post a picture of the MML at the end of the day. There's the full session on the MML. So at the end of the day, everything looks great. Price action runs, and this is what exactly I'm looking for. I'm looking for price action to be in sync from a low to the high. That's number one. So what do I have? I have a solid Heikin-Ashi bar. I have it above the cloud, above the T3 moving average. I got a 534 in sync down here in the green. I have a 5144 in the green, that's the cloud, and I'm at the MML low. Well, that looks great. Solid Heikin-Ashi bars, you stay in all the way to the top, and there you go. Bang, 5-minute chart, range chart all the way up here high at 5683. Well, is that what it looked like this morning? However, it didn't. We can see here on the 5-minute chart, nope, we weren't up there, but the range chart was up there. That's why the overlay of several time frames helps out to put you in the trade. So here's our market open. That's all right. 5-minute major support resistance. You jump in. Does that mean you bail up here at the 5-minute chart? No. That means you realize that you're in trend and you stay on, and you stay on if you're on the trade. And you obviously look for where is consolidation going to occur. Perhaps the 5-minute chart will rise up to the range chart, and then across the board you'll see 1-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute charts. Perhaps they're all in sync, and 56.83 ends up being the same, which we saw here also on the 1-minute chart. Actually, 1-minute chart was actually trending much better on the MMLs. We could see market open here, had the same lines all the way throughout, so it was the 5-minute chart that had a little bit of catching up to do, but the 1 and the 10-minute chart showing 56.83 was going to be the high at this point unless trend was to continue. And we saw consolidation there at the top. All right, so NNQ MML after 1 minute, there it was, consolidation, and boom, to the downside. So where's the bar that you enter? This is a dilemma, and this is where there might be a little bit of contrast as to what do? Do you take the entry at 56.8350 and take the short? Or do you wait for at least a bar trending down to enter and then ride it all the way down, as we saw here at the end of the day on the range charts, went all the way to the MML lows down here at 56.64, which was the low on the 1-minute chart. Here we can see in the afternoon. All right, so either way, if you're able to take the MML high to the low, great job on the trend through this choppy afternoon session as the NQ came down. And that's exactly how it played out. So NQ to the upside on the range chart. Turnaround up here. You might have been stopped out depending on where your stop was. If it was at the swing size, you would have been okay. 56.86 at least at a minimum there. Gives you a 2.5 point stop. Price action barely came up here to take you out. And you would have sat down as long as you could all the way to the downside. Maybe even taking a contract off halfway. 5-minute chart again after the reset. Note that. Looks great in the post session. But also had to reset itself, and once it reset itself up here at 56.83, that was it, and finally came all the way down. All right, other notable charts, it was the ES there. I posted a ES chart there this morning. Price action, we were looking downside to 23.90, posted that online, looking for a stall at 23.94. That's exactly the way the market played out on the ES by the MMLs, and dragged itself all the way down to 23.90. Way to go, ES. Pow on the final numbers. All right, let's jump into the charts as we see them heading into, let me point out, let's go to the GC. Nice moves downside again on the GC. Again, a lot of traders asking me, well, where's the highest probability setups? It remains the same. The strategy is always the same. Incorporating the MML, that's up to you, how you want to use it. I like it when everything's in trend. I like it when we're going from low to high and all my charts are in the green. I would prefer consolidation at the top and then to go red to come down. I don't always get that, so I default to my solid Heikin Ashi bars in sync with the other charts. So there it is. That's the setup on gold. There it is. Nice move pre-market, market open on the gold to the downside. Pulls back upside. Perhaps it was an MML low. It actually was. And price action, there's the higher probability setup after the pullback. Price action back above the cloud and for an afternoon trade. 6E also, we saw the 6J downside. Interesting enough, 6J got a little bit of a pop up here at the end, so not bad. Everything in sync. I don't like to enter midstream. I like to always enter on the crossover. So 6J, awesome run to the downside on 2-day stretch. And the 6E again, overnight session, very nice. Had a couple of opportunities downside. There we go. Solid Heikin Ashi bar. T3 moving average back and slope, making some lower highs here. Eventually counter trend. You might as well either, if you're a counter trend trader, you had an opportunity to make ticks as well, but back downside, combination of MML might have put you into some nice, sweet trend there. All right, where are we sitting overall? Big picture as we go into tomorrow's session. Note the all-time high still sitting up here on the ES. 60-minute MML charts up here at 23.98, matching up with the 5-minute chart. So if the Globex manages to push back upside, I'd want to watch the 98.50. Always into tomorrow's session, while watch that all-time high up to 24.06. Also downside, see for the resistance here, 23.90, or at least the support for now If we break that 23.90, you want to watch the 10-period moving average for the key level of support. Anything lower than that, we're looking down to 82 and lower gaps. Looking at the NQ price action, again, we had an MML reset from this morning, so good thing that we have some intermediate levels before we get up here to those weekly levels up here at 57.81. So short term up to 57.03 to 32. Note the 56.83 to 86 up here puts us just within a couple of about 10 points there of the resistance on the daily up here. A couple of resistance actually up here. So 57.03 to the upside. Anything downside, we'll be looking 50% pullback overnight. 56.73 down to about 56.64. Again, watch the 1 to 2 minute charts overnight, and we'll be looking at big picture down to 56.25 with the 10-period moving average. Also, watch your YM overnight on the 1 minute chart. There we go. YM again making a nice move downside on the MMLs. So smaller time frame upside, look up 29.18 up to 9.33, and downside all the way down to 8.64. All right, heading into tomorrow's data. Just keep a note on the big picture for the week. Thinking that the French elections may have played a role. Obviously, it was a non-game player here, a non-essential event, but momentum to the downside. Watch those open gaps. Watch that 10-period moving average for those first levels of signs of support. And to the upside, still keeping the obvious NQ reaching the sky's the limit, and the ES trying to ring that bell as well as the YM on the daily gap. Headed into tomorrow, economic calendar still remains kind of light here. We have Fed speakers, Treasury budget, the remainder of the week, jobless claims, PPI, and following with a couple red star events at the end of the week. All right, Jedi traders, that wraps up today's daily trend and key futures markets and charts that I watch every day on the screen share here using the Sierra charts. A shout out to TOS screen share. Again, making that available here to those traders that use the TOS screen. Again, little adaptation. You don't have the flex wrinkle bars, so you got to drop down a frame here. But here's the 6J that we've been watching in trend on the Sierra charts. You can see here on the TOS time frame. Again, you have the 534 and you have the 5144. And again, if you're watching the U.S. internals, you have the tick count, you have the cumulative tick index here, and you have the AD lines to help you as well. Again, those are only primary to the U.S. regular indices. All right, guys, feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra is one simple strategy. Any chart, any time frame, and any market will keep you disciplined. You can see, as I showed you here today, just trying to keep it simple on the charts. You can find me every day on, here it is, Twitter, at Trading Fibs. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I'm only watching the charts that are in front of me, and I leave my bias at the door when trading. Last but not least, if you're interested in those Murray math levels, check out the tutorial here that I posted on YouTube. Again, for the Sierra charts, I don't recommend them for TOS. I do have a study, but very weak study in my opinion. However, if you're able to implement those perhaps on NinjaTrader or whatever trading platform you're using, feel free to put them on there and use them at your own understanding and own risk as well. I'm not a big counter trend trader, so taking the entry to the short, I'd rather have as many of my T3 moving averages as well as price action underneath the cloud lined up. Again, there is a strategy. Implement it at your own risk. Hey guys, today is Tuesday. As far as my itinerary is concerned, I should be out of here, flying to Chicago, meet with the family, and checking out a visit to Infinity Futures. So looking forward to that. The great stuff that they're putting out there. They also have a trading challenge coming up. You might want to check that out. I'll be sending out some more information that on Twitterville. Other than that, no more daily trends until next week. I'll go ahead and continue to post throughout the week, so check it out. And until then, I'll see you guys next week on the airways. Until then, also, have yourselves a Blue Zone day, wherever you may be. And as always, have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good night. Good trading to you. David signing off here from TradingFibs.com.